My name is Michael O'Gwen. And up until about 6 weeks ago, I was a healthy 59-year-old guy who ate right and worked out a lot. And then one day I was showering after I was rowing, and I noticed that my torso was yellow, which wasn't a good look for me. So I called my doctor the first thing next morning, and within 48 hours after a ultrasound and a blood test and MRI, found out I had fourth stage pancreatic cancer and just a few months to live. And what immediately came to my mind is that I could have a good attitude about this, or I could have a bad attitude about it. And I decided to have a good attitude about it because it's going to make my time that I have left more enjoyable, and it's going to be a heck of a lot easier on the people around me. I should say I'm not happy about my diagnosis. It's incredibly difficult to tell my wife and my family and my good friends I was dying. And I still had a lot of things I wanted to do in life. But I can't feel sorry for myself. I've had such a wonderful life. I've had so many great experiences. I've had a great career. I've been married for 20 years to a woman I love. I've gone around the world, had some great kids. I've just had a wonderful life. And when you think about having a wonderful life and being grateful, it's impossible to feel sorry for yourself. I look at my diagnosis as a gift. And that's because I could have been hit by a truck. I have got this notice that I got a limited amount of time, so it gives me an opportunity to get my life in order. I can prepare my family and friends, tell them what I need to tell them. I can transition my business to my business partner so he can be successful. And one of the other great things that I'm doing is I'm able to reach out and call all the people in my life that have made my life so wonderful and fantastic. So I've called people that I've known, haven't talked to in 30 years. And I told them how much they contributed to my life and how much I appreciated them being in my life. And that was a wonderful experience. And I found people that, many of them had tragedies in their life that I did. And we could share and relate to those and be intimate and real about it. My daughter, for 14 years, was a drug addict. And for the last 5 years, she suffered from severe mental illness. So my life has not been rainbows and unicorns. It's been tough, and I've had catastrophes in my life. But I've been able to share those with people. And in the last month, I've had a lot of the most meaningful and touching conversations in my life with people. And I've made a difference for them. And I just consider that an incredible gift. My wife asked me if I was scared to die. And I said, no, I'm not scared to die. I had a friend, Don, close friend, knew him since he was 14. And when he was 14, he told me that he wanted to get rich, live on a mountain, retire at 40, play golf and tennis. And Don was very successful. He did exactly that. He got a tennis scholarship to college. He ended up going to Harvard Business School, went to work on Wall Street, retired at 40, married a beautiful woman, lived on a mountaintop. And he became an alcoholic. And while he'd never admitted it, he was miserable. And Don was one of the people in my life I found that was the most hostile to religion. He used to refer to religion as the opiate of the masses. And when I went to New Orleans to visit him when he was on his deathbed, I tried to tell him that he had another chance to rethink things and he could accept God's grace in his life. It wasn't too late. And he was pretty out of it by then, but I felt there was some understanding of what I said. I don't know if I was successful or not. I hope so. But I can't think of anything more horrifying to be in Don's place while he's laying on that bed in agony and looking at the soon-to-be end of his life and the end of his existence. That would just be horrifying to me. And I'm not in that boat. I believe there's an afterlife. I believe that I've accepted God's grace. And I'm going to go to this wonderful place called heaven soon. And I've watched many YouTube near-death experiences, and they all talk about what a wonderful place it is and how they don't want to come back. So I look at this death as just a speed bump to eternity. And so I'm not afraid. You know, I'm afraid of the pain I may have in the next few weeks, and I'm afraid of, you know, if I see a tall ladder and I climb to the top, that I'll fall off and mangle myself. But I'm not afraid of death. You know, and what's really shocking is people I know from 30 years ago are so surprised that I'm a Christ follower. Because when I knew them, I never had any religion growing up. And never went to church. And it wasn't until and I'm a real analytical, scientifically oriented guy. And, you know, one of my friends says, how can you believe in God and religion if you're so scientifically oriented? Well, when I was 43, my wife wanted to go to Saddleback Church. And I decided to go with her because I wanted to accompany her and share that experience with her. Not because I believed in it, it's because I wanted to have that companionship with my wife. Well, after a year of sitting there listening to Rick Warren and the other pastors talk, you know what they did? They persuaded me intellectually that there was a God and that Jesus Christ was my Savior. You know, how could anyone fulfill the 44 prophecies of the Old Testament? How could 10 people, 10 disciples, go from completely demoralized when their prophet is crucified and suddenly become energized and decide to change the world? How could a man so counterculture as Jesus Christ exist and hope to be popular when he went against all the norms of society? How could 500 plus people witness him walking around after his crucifixion? Some of them who saw his wounds, some of them who ate with him. There was just this overwhelming amount of data and information which convinced me that he existed. And I came to believe, Rick Warren said something that I came to believe. He said, if you're a father, you understand you wanted to have children. And I could relate to that. I could relate to a supreme being who wanted to have children. So I came to believe. And then, after I believed, thought, if you will, thought there was a God, without any faith, I started to seeing God working all over my life and the lives of others. I saw so many improbable events that had such meaningful impact on people, it could only be the hand of God. And I saw my wife and the faith that she had, and I was inspired by it. Let me tell you, we decided, you know, my wife wanted to tithe. Believe me, I was very unenthusiastic about that idea. But once we started tithing, I saw that how much an impact that had on my faith and grew it. So there were just so many wonderful things that I saw that led me to believe in faith and God. And if you want more of my story, my faith story, go to caringbridge.org. Go to the May 19th and June 11th posts, and I talk more about it. And I'll put that in the comments section of this YouTube post. You know, my business partner and I, we helped our clients win more contract awards than anyone in history. I have metrics and data to confirm that we were the most successful people in the world at what we did. And that was very, very satisfying. But it wasn't nearly as satisfying as when I've been able to reach out and touch other people for the better. And I've done that, and I've done a lot of that in the last month. And it's been a tremendously wonderful experience. And I want you to know that it's never too late to do that. My death is imminent, but I'm still reaching out, touching people, And frankly, some of us said they've been inspired by my story. And I just hope that you're inspired to reach out and talk to some people in your life that have contributed to you. And it would be so meaningful to say thank you to them. And it would make their life a lot better. And it's going to make your life a lot better too by delivering that message and the satisfaction you'll have from doing that. So with that, thank you very much for listening. And goodbye.